These days, news about potential, cancelled and confirmed Game of Thrones spin-offs seemingly reaches us on almost a daily basis. What is Jon Snow's sequel going to be like? Have they finally started filming Season 2 of House of the Dragon? And does the confirmation of a Knight of the Seven Kingdoms mean that we will have to wait another 10 years for the Winds of Winter? With all this conflicting news clapping our ears, I thought it would be beneficial to bring you the facts concerning all these different spin-offs. And more importantly, to discuss the story these spin-offs will focus on. Starting with my personal favorite, the Sea Snake. Welcome to The Boar and the Lion. If you like these kinds of videos, please consider dropping a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a lot with creating future videos. I realize that I haven't posted a video in a very long time and I want to apologize for that. From now on, I will try to upload at least once every 2 weeks. Thank you very much for your support. In March of 2021, Deadline reported that 3 new spin-offs for Game of Thrones were in the beginning stages of their production. This news was confirmed by outlets such as Variety and The Hollywood Reporter. According to this news, the spin-off that seemed to be furthest along in production was called 9 Voyages. Bruno Heller, known from shows as Rome and Gotham, was named as part of the creative team. Almost a year later, in March of 2022, we finally got some more news about 9 Voyages, and not just from some media outlet. George R.R. Martin himself, in his Not a Blog blog post, confirmed the series was in the making. Its working title was changed to The Sea Snake in favor of 9 Voyages, since they did not want to make 2 shows with numbers in the title. And aside from this sliver of news and the confirmation itself, nothing new came to light. And to be honest, no news has come to us ever since. There were some rumors that it had been shelved, but George confirmed that the show was still in production last month. So why am I so excited about a show which we know so little about? That's because of the story this spin-off will focus on. As its working title, The Sea Snake, betrays, this show will be about the life of Corlys Velaryon, head of House Velaryon and possibly the greatest Westerosi sailor who ever lived. And the reason this show was originally called 9 Voyages is because Corlys took his famous ships to all the corners of the known world on 9 different occasions, making his family the wealthiest in the 7 kingdoms in the process. One of the most exciting things about the television adaptation of Game of Thrones for me personally has always been the chance to see all the cities, castles and regions conjured by George's mind come to life. The first time we see Winterfell, King's Landing and the Red Keep, the Eyrie and the Mountains of the Moon. Game of Thrones took us to a lot of the most fantastic places in Westeros throughout its 8 seasons. In my opinion, Highgarden and Castle Rock were done a bit dirty by the show writers. But then again, what wasn't done dirty in those damning last 2 seasons? A continent we have seen far less of is Essos. We of course followed Daenerys' journey through this continent, starting in the free city of Pentos, traveling through the Dothraki Sea, and after a quick stop in Cart, settling down in Slaver's Bay. We've got a great look at Braavos, called the greatest of the free cities, because of Arya Stark, and we got some glimpses of Volantis in the later seasons. Essos is a continent so vast, however, that we have just barely scratched the surface of all there is to see by this point. And Corlys Velaryon was the first Westerosi that visited most of these places during his 9 voyages. So which places will we probably see getting some time in the sun in this upcoming show? To start with, we will hopefully get to see some of the free cities that have eluded us so far. Corlys sailed to all the coastal free cities during his travels. We've already visited Pentos on multiple occasions. Still, while we've been there multiple times, we've never got an extensive look at the city. Myr, Tyrosh and Lys are all 3 cities situated very near to the 7 kingdoms. Lys is the most interesting one here. During the height of the Valyrian Empire, the Valyrians used Lys as their favorite holiday location. During their vacations, the Valyrians like to share their beds with the locals, resulting in a considerable part of the Lyseni citizens having the classic Valyrian looks. During his travels north, Corlys visited Braavos, which we have already seen plenty of, but it wouldn't be a crime to return to. He visited Lorath in the north and the port of Ibben, a far northern nation of whalers inhabited by the hairy men, a race truly different from those living on the mainland of Essos. While sailing south, Corlys visited Volantis. The oldest of the three cities, we got a glimpse of it when Tyrion travelled through it with Varys and when the Greyjoy siblings fled there after their uncle Euron's ascent. But for such a great and ancient city, we have seen far too little of it. On this same trip, Corlys travelled much further south to the Summer Isles, home to the god of tits and wine, according to Tyrion. The Summer Islanders are a peaceful people, who indeed worship a fertility goddess. They are known to make the best bows and the fastest ships in the world. And these locations are only the ones that are still somewhat close to Westeros. Sailing through the Jade Gates near Kart in the south, Corlys visited Yiti and Leng, which are the equivalent of Asia in George R.R. Martin's known world. He even visited Asshai by the Shadow, home of the Red Priest Melisandre, where Corlys is said to have lost his love and half his crew, according to the stories. If I personally could choose one location that I really wanted to see televised, it would be Asshai without a doubt. Sailing further to the east along the northern route through the Shivering Sea, Corlys became the first Westerosi to navigate the Thousand Isles and visit Never, Nagai and Mossovi. So little is known about these lands in Westeros that people believe they are inhabited by shapeshifters and necromancers. Moreover, Mossovi in the north and Asshai in the south are literally the two most eastern locations that have ever been mapped in the known world. Quickly jumping back to Westeros for a bit, Corlys has sailed to Lannisport. This would give the showrunners a second chance to portray Casterly Rock as it overlooks the great western city. Casterly Rock is supposed to be 3 times higher than the Wall and a sight to behold. Let's hope they give us a better version of it this time around. Lastly, Corlys tried to navigate around the north of Westeros, above the lands of Always Winter, to find a new sea route. He gave up when he did not find one, but this may mean that we get to see locations farther north than we have ever been. Aside from the places he visited, not many details about what happened during Corlys' 9 voyages are known to us, except for the fact that they made him and House Velaryon exceptionally rich. The only thing of note that we do know is that he apparently saw Sunchaser, a ship belonging to Alyssa Farman, docked in Asshai when he was there. This may mean that Alyssa found a sea route to Asshai through the Sunset Sea, but let's leave that for another video. A lot of locations and not much in-depth information. This gives the writers of the Sea Snake quite some artistic freedom regarding the writing of this show. Fans of the A Song of Ice and Fire saga will still want to see some faithful adaptations of these locations and the world itself, but it at least means that the writers don't step on everybody's toes when a certain scene is done just a bit different from its book counterpart. I am very excited to hear more news about this spin-off and I will keep you updated when I hear more. Which spin-off are you most excited about? And which spin-off would you like me to feature in the next video? Please let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time.